In VidCon, when we did the meet and greet, I think the first 20 fans that were in line, 19 of them were wearing fake merch.
Mm-hmm.
That's when we really, truly hit us. We're like, how much of fake merch is out there, and could we be making a lot more money?
Creator News.
Welcome to Creator News, Tubefilter's investigative news show, where each week we delve into a topic that affects you, the creator.
Creator News is brought to you by Patreon, the platform that gets creators paid. Drew, what are you wearing?
Patreon merch, baby, representing the sponsor. Gotta get my swaggy on.
Wait, where'd you get that? Are you sure it's all legit?
Yeah, why wouldn't it be?
Creator News.
This week on Creator News, we're talking about fake merch.
You may not have heard a lot about it, and it may not seem like a big deal, but let me tell you, it is. Fake merch just might be the biggest problem you've never heard of. In our music industry episode of Creator News, we talked about how increasingly important merch has become for creators to make money.
In today's times, with no live events and revenue shares being so low or unpredictable, selling merch is one of the only ways left that creators can sustain their business.
I mean, there are a few other ways, I'm sure.
Good one. Look, merch can be lucrative for creators. Logan Paul claimed he sold over $30 million in the first year he launched his clothing line, Maverick.
And that made Maverick a prime target.
The Maverick merch has gotten so popular, people are literally stealing our designs, putting them in their stores, and making a profit off of me.
It's not just the massive creators who make their living off of merch. It's a big part of any creator's business.
My name is Ross Tran, aka Ross Jaw, and I love making art fun. So a lot of my paintings were for sale. So these are pins for my new collection. This is my book Nima. We usually see like ads for it floating around. And sometimes people are in like the Philippines even, and they're like, oh my gosh, that's Ross Jaw's merch on like a backpack, on like a chair. And they would take a picture of it and they would show it to the Discord. I'm like, what the hell?
And like for many creators, Ross's merch makes up a significant portion of his business.
I would say like 40% is merch.
Counterfeiters understand how much money there is in merch, so when they see an opportunity, they don't waste any time getting to work.
When I first launched this design, within 20 minutes, somebody had, I tweeted a teaser the day before, and somebody had cut it out in Photoshop and was already printing it on another website.
This is comedian and commentary creator Eddy Burback. He was so shocked to see how much of his counterfeit merch was hitting the market that he made a video about it.
The entire internet seems to be stealing my shit.
Eddy's merch brand Yikes is getting ripped off at an incredible pace. After Eddy released his video, other creators shared stories about how their merch was getting ripped off too. And it started to become very clear just how rampant this fake merch problem had become.
Yeah, I got a ton of messages from friends and even people that just are kind of like YouTube acquaintances saying, I've had this exact same problem. I was searching my own channel on mobile, and Google's auto ads were promoting the scam sites on YouTube's app above my channel.
Eddy Burback's actual merch store was on the second page of Google search results after all the counterfeiters.
And I think that's when they really exploded, to the point where, you know, you searched it on Google Images and it was just a grid of stolen merch for it.
With made-to-order print-on-demand services, you didn't even have to make the product. All you have to do is slap a logo on a t-shirt and throw a picture of that up online.
I guess it doesn't take much to search trends and then just throw up a bunch of stuff on the wall and see what sticks. Seems like merch piracy is as easy as content piracy now.
We're just making videos for counterfeiters.
Yes. we're making them for them. Yep.
Yeah.
This is Qwaint and Chad Wild Clay. They're a married couple who have been making videos on YouTube for over 10 years. Right now, they're doing very well.
We're averaging somewhere around 300 million to 400 million views every month, which leads to a lot of people seeing that and realizing they can probably make money off that, and they make some counterfeit merch.
That 300 to 400 million views a month figure is crazy. Chad and V also have over 20 million subscribers across all their YouTube channels. With huge numbers like that, it's no surprise that they are prime targets for merch counterfeiters.
We were at the park and a father came up with his son and said, oh, my son's just the biggest fan, and check out his bedroom. And he pulled out his phone and he showed us a picture of his bedroom. bed sheets, quilt, all Spy Ninjas branded or CWC branded. His bed sheet had that on it. He had a poster above his bed. He had a hat hanging on the wall, but not a single item was an item that we actually sell. We don't know exactly how much is being sold from these counterfeiters, but it seems like we potentially 20 times as much as we're currently selling. So that would bump us up to like probably a third of our revenue.
A third, yeah.
When 95% of your merch that's sold is counterfeit, that is a lot of money left on the table. It's not like you stumble upon pirated merch and there's a little sales count number right next to the product image. You have no idea how much money is being made off of it.
They have a software that will go out and crawl Amazon and Etsy and eBay and all these sites looking for counterfeit merch. And they were able to find 3,500 individual products.
3,500 unlicensed products? That is insane.
It gets worse. Not only are creators losing out on revenue, but they have no control over how their brand is being used.
There was one top Google result that was clearly, blank images of somebody wearing just like a regular shirt, and then they just plop their design on. And they had Trump Pence logos on them.
Okay, so who are these counterfeiters? Was counterfeiting a new cottage industry of the internet?
There's so many ripped off sites, and some of them have similar kind of copy paste scam text to them. And so some of them for sure, if I see 5 sites, might be sourced of one person paying some kind of scam website to spread it out to a bunch of fake links. It would only take, a small pool of people to create like a really big network of it.
Oh yeah, these counterfeiters are a lot more organized than you'd think.
So on the one hand, you've got fans, and most of the folks that we work with do not see those guys as a threat.
This is Mary Carnahan. She works at Snapdragon. It's an online brand protection company that's dedicated to fighting fakes by monitoring, detecting, and removing counterfeits.
The higher volume, which translates into higher value of turnover, that's where things do become more significant, and you can start to detect operations behind sellers.
And the creators are not the only victims. The consumers are victims too.
I definitely have received a lot of emails and tweets from people who said, I'm really disappointed in this backpack that I got. It's just really low quality. It's already falling apart.
What if these counterfeiters were doing more than just faking merch?
I was more worried about like identity theft for people putting their credit card info in for these ripped off sites.
That would make sense. If counterfeiters don't care about stealing a creator's identity, why would they care about stealing a customer's identity?
But it's not just counterfeiting and fraud that they instigate. I mean, there's human trafficking, there's child labor, there are issues around pollution, even terrorism as well.
Wait, what did she say?
I know, it's crazy, right? Counterfeiting operations are no joke. It's estimated to be a $500 billion a year industry. The United Nations Interregional Crime and Justice Research Institute ranked counterfeiting among the highest income sources for organized criminal activities. And according to the Organized Crime and Corruption Reporting Project, it's far more profitable than drug smuggling and human trafficking.
So counterfeit merch isn't just a problem about who's losing money, it's also a problem about who's getting the money. And creators don't realize how their complacency may be helping these criminal operations.
I think if we give up and don't do anything, then without a doubt, the counterfeiters will just run wild. When you leave them unchallenged, the trajectory goes up and the problem remains. When you challenge them and you show that you mean action, they do eventually back off.
So what are some of the things that creators can do to protect themselves?
The best thing that a brand can do, so a YouTuber can do, is to register their trademark. It's the quickest and easiest thing to do. And what we find is the folks that register their name in word form, as well as in figurative logo form, have the best weaponry to defend their name going into the future.
I know, registering a trademark may seem like a big burden, but it's really the only tool you have to convince the platforms to take down this fake stuff.
If you've got the trademark, you can say, I own that name, and then it's much quicker and much easier to have things removed.
Creators can also develop more original products that are just harder to rip off, like toys, beauty products, technical gear, or even coffee.
We are coming out with this toy line, and that's going to be much more difficult to counterfeit. You can, because to make one of these, I don't know, you can't just make one of these, So I hope there's not a counterfeit problem with those.
And of course, creators can always fight back with the best tool they have at their disposal: their community of fans.
I just asked everyone, my new link is on page 2. Don't buy anything if you don't want to, but if you could click on it just so there's some results for it and it gets pushed to the top. And it actually did. And then I saw people in my subreddit and people on Twitter telling me they were reporting sites to Google for it. And I think the best thing you can do is kind of ask people to help you with it.
The tough thing about counterfeit merch is that it's invisible. Creators only see the revenue they receive, which can be a lot, but they miss out on the revenues they're not seeing, which could potentially be a lot more. Some counterfeiters may just be exuberant fans who really don't know any better. But if the operation is organized, they could also be some very bad people.
We have a responsibility as creators, as consumers, and as fans to avoid fake merch and report it when we see it. In other words, just say no.
Creator news.
Creator News would not be possible without our partnership with Patreon.
Patreon helps you generate recurring income from your creative work by offering exclusive content and community to your fans. It's a great way to set yourself up for long-term success and reward your most loyal fans along the way.
So check out patreon.com/creatornews and change the way your creativity is valued.
You know what would be great if you found out all of a sudden your merch store was on the 3rd page of Google search results and 95% of people buying your products were buying counterfeits?
What?
A Patreon page.
Patreon page. Of course. What issues do you want to hear from us next? Put it in the comments.
And
if you like this video, like this video.
Subscribe if you haven't already.
Ring the bell.
And please share Creator News with your fellow creators and online video professionals.
I'm Drew.
And I'm Josh.
And this is Creator News.
We will see you next week.
Creator news.